Hello everyone, I'm John Reyhons, the General Manager here at IronOaks, and welcome to another session with Java with John. I have two delightful guests with me today. I have Staphic Raach, our Vice President of the Board of Directors, and I also have Dave Erwin, who is a Director at Large. And thank you both for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. So, anyway, let me ask you just a few questions, a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
How long have you lived here? Tell us about yourself, where you're from, what you did professionally. Stephanie, can we start with you?
Sure. I've been here since 2006, first as a snowbird, and in 2012 I moved here full time. In my former life, I'm from the Midwest, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois. And in my former life, I spent my career as a faculty member, administrator, athletic director at a community college. And when I retired from that, I ran for the Board of Trustees and served on a 6-year term at the college.
Terrific. That's impressive.
Thank
Nice to know. That's great. And Dave, what about you?
Well, Mary and I moved here in 2006 from Southern California. I'm a Bruin, UCLA Bruin. Okay. Interesting, I got my degree in microbiology, but I ended up in biomedical marketing and sales. In the last job, I was vice president of marketing of a biomedical company that we eventually took public. Was part of a larger pharmaceutical company. When I got here in 2006, after we got all the stuff put away in the house, I decided I should do something. So I became a compliance officer for ALC. And then about 4 months later, I was director of ALC. So I got to see that. And I stayed in that job until 2014, and I kind of retired again. During that time, though, I was the first director of communications, established the first department of communications here, and the first professional website. Joined the board in 2015, and I knew from my experience working for the association, knew a lot of people on the board, and it's been a pleasure and a surprise to know how dedicated my fellow board members are. I mean, they really have their stuff together, are dedicated, like this lady here, and it makes it, well, it's never really all easy, but it's certainly less pressure now that we have a professional management team here. When we were self-managed, and I went through that as well, that was tough. Yeah.
Well, impressive background, Dave. Thanks for sharing that. Now, one of the reasons we're talking today, hard to believe, right around the corner, it's time for elections again. And so I'll ask both of you, why did you decide to run for the board?
I decided to run for the board because it's just in my makeup to learn about as much as I can about an organization. In my career, I started as faculty member in fitness, wellness, and sport. I went to athletic director and director of fitness and wellness and sport. I did assistant dean, and then I went up to the board. So I just really believe you have to learn as much as you can, and each level teaches you a little bit more.
That's great. Dave?
Well, as I said, I've been around the association almost from day one, and having worked from being an employee, I knew the board members at that time, and frankly, several of them said, you got to run. You got a background, and I have kind of the history there, and I like doing it. It's very rewarding. I just think it does something to know you've really put something into the community, and you get it back.
Terrific. So, now that you've both been on the board, any surprises out there?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Not in a bad way, surprises. It's amazing how much, how big an organization this is. It's a small city, and that probably surprised me. I heard people talk about it, but until you're in it, you don't really get the full feel of what a small city is like. So that was probably the biggest surprise to me, is just all the different moving parts.
Yeah.
Right. Dave?
Boy, I've had a lot of them. I think the surprise is what strides we've made after bringing Blue Star on board, and it really relieved a lot of the pressure that I could see that board members had to quote, I'll say, put up with. But the dedication of all the board members, all the ones I've had the pleasure to serve with, is just outstanding in a very good, surprising way. It really is.
That's great. Thanks, Greg. Anything rewarding since you've been on the board?
There have been a lot, but I think if I had to summarize it in one thought, it would be just the niceness of the people and getting to meet a whole lot of people that I wouldn't have met ordinarily.
I'm just so glad to see pickleball finally as a part of the community. That was 7 years of trying to get it right and to do away with the divisiveness. And the others, Stone and Barrel, it's just have been a phenomenal story of success and bringing homeowners here to enjoy it. It really has been great.
That's wonderful. And speaking of pickleball, I know, Stephanie, you've been very close to working with the pickleball players, and I want to thank you for that. And I think you're right that pickleball, it was a long, hard battle, but now that it's here, it's exciting. It's one of the most fastest growing sports in the United States. It's fun to play. We're seeing a lot of activity out there. So I think that's one great example of how an effective director and board of directors can move forward to accomplish a great goal for our community.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, super. Thanks for your time today. I appreciate all that you do. You both are fabulous directors here, and I can't thank you enough for all your time, your expertise, and what you do for the community. That means a lot to all of us. So thanks so much. Appreciate it. For all of you, next time, join us for another session with Java with John, as we'll have a couple more directors joining us for another chat. Stay
Great
well.
to be here. Great.
Great. Thank you.